All right, November 22nd, 11:22 at 7:11 p.m. All right, so before we get started pre-meeting, so what is the decision on the weekly meetings? At one point, we had put out there 2 hours, but I did not think there was a decision as of yet. So, or if there was, then I apologize. Was it 9:30? Or as I'm talking, I feel like that might have been what we decided on.
We never came to a solid decision. I know we were especially waiting, I believe, for, you were expressing before, Jane, like your need to really stay on the schedule, I believe, like kind of just like, being in bed, which I kind of get too, because I get up super early to do stuff. So we tentatively said 9:30, with the intention of thinking like, okay, where's Jane at with her need for needing to like really honor her schedule and need to get ready for bed. So we didn't come to a full decision then.
So now would be the time then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what do you feel about nights? Like I was kind of thinking like a 7 till 9 would be pretty cool, but I'm open to going a little bit later if it flows that way. And what's everybody else thinking? Input since we're here.
So my thought would be, it depends on how we want to structure the meetings. So do we want to have the opening and the closing meditations that we've been evolving into? Do we want to be talking more from a business approach, not a business approach, but all right, here are the to-dos, here are the updates, and so it's a little more structured, more rigid? Do we want to have a little bit more flexibility? Because in 2 hours, based on how we've currently been moving, that might be tight. 2.5 hours might be fine. 2 hours might be fine as well, because a lot of times when you set a time limit, everything gets done in that time limit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know too, just from a lot of the things that I've been participating in, like they don't go over an hour. Like they're very like rigid. They don't change it, but they get everything in. And those are more like learning type things. But um, I know at least a couple of the different groups that I've been participating with have said anything over an hour and people don't really absorb anymore. So it might make sense to structure the meetings so that anything that we need to absorb, we do within an hour. And then if we, want to talk and do roundtable kind of stuff, then we can do that after that point. Maybe that would be a way to approach it.
Here's an idea that kind of came to me as you were talking. Jane, you make a great point. I've heard similar ideas with time frames. I've heard also 30 minutes, and so every 30 minutes, get up, move around for a couple minutes. So if there were hour chunks, then maybe there were the possibility of 3 meetings in a 2-hour period, and they were options of us to go into. Maybe if we're too small of a group to kind of have these kind of sub meetings like that, but that might mean, all right, 1 hour gets focused more on the business at hand. 1 hour is more focused on roundtable. You can opt whether to go join in on those calls. And similarly with the idea of the coaching setup, it's 2 blocks, an hour and 15 minutes each. And so all of a sudden we have two, and maybe there are 2 different nights of the week I'm throwing out there. Maybe it is all on a Wednesday, so that way there's more flexibility. So it's all right, Monday night is the call on Unity Financial, maybe for example. I'll lead that call, throwing it out there. And as an idea, so if you check in, I'll give you updates. If not, no worries, and I go on with my day. And that could be the same with, all right, so the next Wednesday at 7, we'll do an hour of roundtable and an hour of guild meeting, or insert anything, not to get into details. But throwing out the idea of what if we categorize this meeting in chunks of time, 1 hour, hour and a half, that sort of thing for mix and match.
That might also be good for doing recordings because then your recording could be shorter and you could stop recording in between. That way it would be easier to find things later. If if you wanted to only watch, the learning parts of the meetings, for example, to save them for new initiates, we wouldn't have to go back through recordings and chop them up. It would already be there.
All right, well, maybe this is not something we'll come to a decision right now. Maybe we just say 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and this is at least an idea, potentiality to think about. But this is kind of like a small note. I don't want to spend a while thinking about this. But I like this idea, what we were talking about, Gene. So what's the best step here, throwing it out there so we don't lose this idea? Maybe we just log it and then come back to it in a later period.
Yeah, I think also, you made a good point about the roundtables, because down the road when we get more people, those could go really, really long if everyone is participating. So it would be a good idea to have those as like an optional thing to participate in, break them out separately.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. That way, if people really want to share that story, get that support, and like they're really coming into it, they can do it. And some are super busy, like, no, it ain't happening this week, or this month. That's a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Platform out there for those.
Yeah, so I think this is also why this is coming up as well, is because we're planning in the next period of time to add more people. And so thinking about the structure is going to make sense, but since we're not quite at that point, figuring out the details doesn't seem to make sense right now. But for now, how about we say we'll go to 9:30, and if we're on a little bit earlier, that's good too. But that way, that'll be that time limit for tonight.
Okay.
Sound good? So now just being mindful of the time when we're speaking. That's going to be something so if we're all more mindful, then hopefully we can start being better with our time. And we'll also start probably timing ourselves and be more structured. But all right, so shall we begin, Brian?
Hey, can you hear me pretty well? So sit up nice and straight, nice and spine. Start breathing in through the nose, relaxing the shoulders, the neck, and the head as you exhale. As you close. Deep breath into the belly. And relax as you let it go. Breathing in, relaxing the neck. This next inhale, create a sphere of white light right in the geometrical center of your being. You exhale, just feel this sphere of energy beginning to pulse and dance. Light. Heat. Inhale, draw more energy into the center of your sphere. Exhaling, imagining it starting to expand from its core outward to encompass the size of your physical heart. Breathing in now, feeling the energy coming from every direction, rushing right into the center of the sphere. Exploding, building up with heat and energy. Exhaling, sending these waves of heat and luminosity outward to the edges of your physical body. Inhaling into the center as it becomes more brilliant and shining with luminosity, light, and heat. Exhaling outwards, reaching now with the spirit circumference of an arm's length beyond the physical body in every direction. So there's a brilliant sphere of light surrounding you now. It is brighter and more intense in the center, and more opaque and transparent as it goes outwards. As you breathe in, feel energy rushing to the center of the sphere, condensing and becoming more and more powerful. Exhale and feeling the energy rush outwards to the outer limits of the sphere surrounding your body as it begins to glisten and dance with gold and light energy. Inhaling, drawing the energy inward, feeling it run through the center of your physical body. Exhaling, the energy rushes to the outer edges of the sphere. creating a greater shield and encasement of rainbow golden white light. As you breathe now into the center of your sphere, feel it explode with energy, the brightness of 1,000 suns. Draw the energy and condensing it right into the center of your heart. As you exhale, create a horizontal, a vertical tube shooting down from your heart center through the root of your body into the center of the earth. Traveling through the layers of the earth, you're inhaling energy in through the sphere, exhaling it downward. Feel yourself go through the water beds, the magma, the lava, the crystalline cores, whatever else you encounter as you travel to the center of the earth. Connect in now to the moon center, the moon chakra of the earth. Draw the energy in from every direction around you, condensing in the sphere. As you exhale, shooting the energy downward through the tube of light, right into the core of the earth. Inhale, create a feeling of gratitude, appreciation, joy, happiness, and just that overall good, smiley feeling coming up inside of your lips. Feel it vibrating on your body. As you exhale, send this gratitude, this love and appreciation down to the center of Mother Earth. As you inhale, feel this energy being reflected to you, drawing it up the tube from the center of the earth, through the ground, into your feet, right into the central sphere, heart center of the body. As you exhale, emanate the energy outward from the sphere to fill every cell, to fill the space around your body, before the edges of the sphere, an arm's length away from your physical body. Feel this energy condensing as you draw it up like sucking out a straw for every inhale, and filling your entire sphere, body, and aura with this love, gratitude, and appreciation, heart center of Mother Earth. Hailing into your center again, feel the energy calming down, condensing, pulsating in your heart. As you exhale, create vertical tube upwards, right to the crown of your head. Feel the energy spinning and coalescing way above your crown. Inhaling again, condensing into another ball of light right above your head. Exhale, shooting the energy out through the atmospheres, into space, past the planets, right into the heart of the sun as you pass through the layers of heat, the explosions of hydrogen and oxygen, the immense energy in this ball of fire and light. Go right into the center of the sun, and you notice you're teleported to a stargate here, which takes you to infinite galaxies, infinite universes, into a great central light, a great central heart of all the universe that glows and emanates like a great central sun. You have a feeling that all things come from this place, and all things return to this place. Not so much a place of physicality, but rather pure energy and potential, unadulterated life force energy from whence all is created, all comes from, and all returns. You move to the center of this, you begin to lose all physical sensations and boundaries, just returning to this light, this knowingness that you are part of this infinite light. It is your mother, it is your father, it is your friend, it is all things. You feel the connectivity and the oneness of this energy as the shadow play behind all physical beings in the universe, behind all thoughts. It is that which is the energy which allows thought to occur, that which is the energy of life force, which everything flows upon. It is that all-pervading etheric force that encompasses and glues all things together. And it is intelligent, it is luminous, it is self-aware, and it is far beyond anything we can possibly comprehend. Breathe in, feel the gratitude, the awe and wonder and appreciation of this great mystery of life and life, and send up this energy. Send up your unconditional love, passion, curiosity, gratitude, and playfulness right into the center of the universe. Feel the pulsation of the connectivity of your heart to this very center. And as you inhale, the reflection of this gratitude, curiosity, love, playfulness, and joy rains downward through this tube of light, spiraling back through the atmosphere to the crown of your head as it begins to fill your physical brain, fill your heart space, and go right into the central sun of light within your heart. And your next exhale, begin to coalesce and move this energy outward through the cells of your body into every system, organ, and hormone, moving it throughout your aura all the way to the edges of the sphere encasing your body, feeling it pulsate and glow with greater luminosity, greater brilliance and vibrancy of light, sound, and energy, drawing energy in from the great central sun, the center of creation, into the great central sun in your heart, and exhaling, filling it, feeling it with greater power and intensity throughout your whole field. Now, in the next inhale, simultaneously bring your awareness to the energy stream connected to the center of the earth, the energy stream to the center of the universe, and draw from above and below into the center of your own heart. Both these streams of energy, this yin and yang, this male and masculine and feminine dynamic of energy, coalescing and playing together, dancing around like a ball of light within your heart. Feel the feminine aspects of yourself, the mother, the earth. Feel the aspects of the Father, the great Son, the dynamic principle upon which all things are created. You bring this energy of heaven down, which is the chi, the spirit, the energy of matter, physicality, and material existence, Mother Earth, the foundation. As we bring these two elements together within ourselves, we feel this power, this wisdom, and love coalescing, spinning throughout every atom, every cell, every part of our existence, all of our thoughts, emotions, our physical bodies, our relationships, our families, our physical environment. This is all resultant of the connection, this energy coming together within us, manifesting in our physical reality. And as we breathe in, feeling these energies flow through us as we exhale, imagine the sphere around you becoming brighter and brighter with each breath as the energy condenses, becomes stronger. You notice there's a pulsating glow right in the center of your heart. It's dancing, it's titillating, even so vibrant, so ready to create. Know that this reserve of energy can be tapped into at any time by simply bringing your awareness to this connection with Mother Earth and Father Sky. Now, as you feel this energy, start to think right now the best possible version of yourself. How do you act? How do you look? Who are you with? What do you create with your time? Energy. How much money do you have? How much time do you have? Where do you live? Travel to? What are you creating in your life to serve others? Hold the resonance, the feeling of these things, whatever that best possible version of yourself is. As you exhale, charge up with all your thought, emotional resonance, the sphere, this great central sun all around you, with this energy, knowing that it will be reflected back to you. Because wherever attention goes, energy flows. More breaths, feeling these energy creation, these thought fields, and emotional resonances. Resting and knowing that it is already done. Tap into this built up thought field at any time. Tap into this energy we've been creating for ourselves and for others. Now as you breathe in, imagine there's a central sun which represents the guild, which is a combination of all our creations, minds, and energy we've been putting into the guild itself, especially these central sun meditations. Breathing in, feel the energy coming into your own center. Now as you breathe out, send your energy to the central sun of the guild. Feeling it, seeing it start to pulsate, glow, the golden white brilliance, swirling inside of it are all the colors of the rainbow, see within an infinite fractal geometry, flowers of light spinning around and coalescing, knowing that this is pure, unadulterated life force energy, that we have the opportunity to mold and create with. Now as you breathe in, full division of the guild being of great service to all the world. Every man, woman, child, animal, and being that is here on this earth, being abundant, safe, happy, and in a beautiful world which is amazing to live in. Feel from the center of this central sun of the guild that there's a core, an unshakable center, comprised of many things, comprised of fellowship, wealth, teachings, energy, goodwill, all these wonderful concepts that haven't taken complete manifestation yet. Imagine within this a system being created that can help all people who are ready to simply apply themselves reverently and with total devotion and discipline to the precepts of this spiritual, mental, emotional, physical system of evolution and upliftment. Imagine the ability to help anybody where they're at, and it is all relative to how much they put into the system. If you do the work, it will work for you. With this knowing, see this system reaching all the people who are meant to reach, all those who are interested in such an order, who are ready to put in the work of spiritual evolution, and who are also ready to be of great service to the guild. First Mother, first and foremost, first of all beings. Imagine this vessel, this great sun of service, well-being, and charity emanating out to all beings, all throughout the earth, and connecting with other orders and societies who are doing the same work, knowing that we are actually a branch of these more interplaying societies which have existed outside of time and space for all epochs of time, always guiding humanity, guiding different races and cultures towards the true light of the soul within. These orders have always existed. All orders, all guilds, all systems and schools of esoteric and special spiritual and magical teachings have always emanated from this inner light. This claims, like brother, great brotherhood, such a life. Many names are many, but it's one. Connecting to this central sun of teachings, this is unspoken, unwritten, without name, shape, or force. This order is this, and the inner planes as the emanation of the logos for light itself. And from here we channel the teachings, we bring the teachings and emanate them within ourselves, knowing that we are not creating from ego, we are not creating from our space of thinking we are right or we know what's right for other people, or we know what to do or how to help people. We're creating from a place of holding and emanating the spiritual light of the soul and allowing others to evolve in non-competition, non-hierarchical order, to evolve in their own free will expression of life, their own free will expression of existence, utilizing their talents, utilizing their pre-inclinations towards certain activities, whatever it is that they truly love to do. Imagine us empowering them to be the best version of themselves, without judgment, without our need to fix, change any person. Imagine people just being themselves, doing what they were came here to do, and serving others, uplifting the guild, uplifting all of humanity and all beings simultaneously. Feel this feeling state creates. See how the earth itself is transformed and is moved into the new earth, the new age, a golden age of enlightenment, total abundance of energy, food, money, all these things. There's so much for everybody. War has been alleviated. There is no more poverty. There's no need to fight. We're at a place where we're all uplifting each other. We're all connected to to the Christ light, the source light within, and we are the emanating living truths of being great central sun to ourselves and collectively creating another sun, following the fractal all the way to the center of galaxies, the center of universes. And the fractal flows all the way down to the smallest particle, subatomic particle, and beyond that. This fractal goes forever. We just happen to be at a certain magnitude of this fractal, of this nation of light. With this, seeing all this, feeling all the energies back into your bodies. Breathe in to the center of your sphere, holding these teachings and knowings, holding this frequency, and store this energy within you, knowing that it may emanate from you any moment if you will to be still. You are the light, you are the truth, you are the way, and holding these things within your heart, holding these visions, holding the energy of the great central sun within you. With this, so it is done. You're creating the best possible reality ever.
Ah, that's a good one. So it is. All right. Thank you, Brian. Oh, nice and relaxed. Not quite in my body yet.
Yeah.
All right. So for tonight, let's then do the roundtable toward the end. Is that what would make sense, you think?
Yeah.
So we'll get into the guild business. So the weekly wisdom is that we can only build as high up as our foundation is deep. The idea of the purpose and the vision and this foundation is important, and getting all of our understanding and energies and ideas in sync will get that foundation so that we can build very high into 2018 and beyond. So guild business, so I'll just give some updates with Unity, keep it brief. Things are progressing remarkably. So now, Jane, the latest, did Jim have a chance to update you a little bit on Unity updates last week?
I don't know that I did.
Okay. Don't worry. So 60-second version. The idea from the weekend is to get this into a place where it can be passed off in some manner. And to get to that step, it's a multi-month process where we have to do certain foundational things anyway. So that's where I've been focused the past few weeks. We got another client in closing now, should be processed and the cash converting on the note within the next couple of days. So the goal would be this weekend. Then the next update is my friend Will Norman is a lawyer from law school, friend, high character, very strong character and integrity, is about serving and protecting the people he protects. Great character. Approached him, sat down with him. He's very interested. So it's now going to be a 6-week process preparing the information to bring him up to speed and then also put the deal together so that he's interested. Great. If not, then at least we have the structure for the next guy. So that will be unfolding. So I may be reaching out to Jim on some of the writing that I'm presenting to him. So I'm already getting that moving on. And then also that's going to, this whole conversation with Will is going to be the impetus to get the business plan in order. So it's going to give us the opportunity to get these systems very clearly defined and explained in one kind of manner. So the legal, technical details, the flow of the operations work, and then the business as a whole, and then the financial projections, which are important to Will. He's got an operation of 5 part-timers that he's managing, 1 virtual assistant, and he's had a lot of success with this virtual assistant. So it's like all these things are starting to line up. and he, though, also is a father of 4. So it's important to him that things are set up in a way where he understands how this is going to work. He's going to dedicate resources and what that means from a dollar exchange. So that's why the next 6 weeks I'll be putting together the deal, and then if it makes sense, then we're great into January. If not, then we still have it for the next one. And then now the goal is 3 new clients a month. If we're hitting that, so now we're looking like very strong potential to get 2 in November. We had 1 in October, and if we get 3 in December, we're moving at an incredible rate. We're able to do exactly what we're visualizing for the next few months at least, and already doing the projections out. And I'll be able to show you guys once I'm putting this into paper as well. It's already in paper, but just better organizing it to get a sense as to, all right, so we have 3 clients a month. What does that look like from a dollar perspective? How much can we use? And then when Will comes in, what that's going to look like. So the 3 is to ensure that we're in a particular place to be in a position where another entity would be able to plug in. Because we're not talking a one-man shop. We're talking another entity that our group is connecting with. So, and then another thing also, so the next client closing, Elise Hutchinson, the prom note, I'll be able to convert with the resources I've been able to manifest. So using the 0% 15-month float on the credit card to deploy on the note in order to take the possession to bring that dollar into the now so we can distribute. So I'm going to be able to do that for this now second round. And then the next round, I will not, I shouldn't say that. Currently, the credit cards may not be the best option because I opened 5 in the past 6 months. I've now been told by 2 companies, one of which was the one you sent me, Jim, that you've opened too many cards in the past year. So that's kind of funny. But the next note that closes this month, so now we'll have to figure out exactly how to liquidate it. So any potential guild resources that would be helpful. We could talk about that. The next piece as well is I'm visualizing the pipeline of people buying the promissory notes by January, but that could happen at any time. But just keep that in mind that we are holding investments for people who want to invest in debt. So that's going to be part of how things unfold for at least the next 3 to 6 months of Unity. All right, any questions on the updates?
Done pretty awesome, Jay, for all the hard work on it, man. With focus and it's going along, flowing really, really well. Awesome. More and more people coming in. Like this built up and being basically off and automated. Whether that looks like a whole other partner we'll bring in, or if it looks like what we were talking about before, we're just have someone hoping up and be like, hey, we're in it for 5% the whole round, whatever that looks like. What you're building makes a lot of sense. It feels great because you'd be ready to do anybody. Have it without all the work and have this awesome.
All right, cool.
Supposed to make it rain.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exciting. All right, Paul.
All right, so going over guild purpose and vision, I received from all of you your own visions and what you think our purpose is. I see that most of us are on relatively same page, like we kind of discussed last week, but I see that there's a little bit, we have a little bit of a little bit of variation here, so I see that our vision is going to be geared towards, obviously helping and empowering humanity. And that's, obviously you want to be helpful. What particular thing that Brian and I have been working on is having, and I think I mentioned this to you guys before, about there being different like separation. So some people do this, some people do that, some people do that. This is kind of, we're already kind of in a different, we're already kind of in a different spot like that now. We all have particular things that we have interest in, particular things that we have passions, either teaching or speaking or whatever about. So a lot of what Brian and I were working on is what it's going to be like at those initiates. What's that first round like? Are those first people? How committed are they? What does that process look like? So we've been kind of just walking through some scenarios, and we're fairly certain that a core curriculum could be up as early as January, and then we could take in the first wave. We don't necessarily have to have everything developed because these people are going to be kind of in the crock pot, so to speak, for 3 to 6 months. So it gives us 3 to 6 months to further develop what that system looks like. But our eventual thought is to have different orders or different orders is the term we use, correct? Yeah, orders.
Yeah, orders or.
Like orders are like almost wings of an organization. Okay, there's
Like
these guys. Yeah,
Different streams.
yeah. So at Hogwarts, you got your guys that teach the abjuration, you get your conjurers, and all that stuff. So it's our thought that we put everybody through a little bit of an initiate type system where it's just a real basic. They do a self dedication to themselves that they're going to commit to look over some of the material that we have. It's going to be a listing of different practical books, some a little bit of science books, but we're thinking also geared towards the esoteric as well. So maybe it starts with something like meditation, learn different types of meditation, learn different types of daily practices, like it could be yoga, it could be the qigong, and we're just gonna have a big list. We don't want to cram the necessary. We don't want to add in everything and say this is what you have to do. We want to give people kind of like a buffet of options at first to see if they really kind of grasp onto, and then use that as a stepping stone in further curriculum. So we're thinking at least 3 months, what we said for the initial stage.
Yeah.
And that's up in the air. So it's a self-dedication at that point. After that 3 months or 6 months, whatever it ends up being once we have it hammered out, and that's when they actually formally dedicate themselves to the guild and they become an initiate. So the initial 3 months is a petitioner or what was the other?
So that was part of what was there. I was saying the initial 3 months could be like, if I might give another thing on this, like a whole student thing. Like he's saying, a self-dedication, there's no real commitment. Here's a bunch of our curriculum, look over it, see if it's going to fit for you. If you like doing this stuff, you're going to get a flavor. Like you said, buffet, you're going to start to understand what we're about. If a person can't really commit to doing that and they don't do the work, well, they failed the first test.
Yeah, if someone doesn't even want to do a little bit of self-study, then
Yeah.
it's going to be difficult for us to, because you have to show some manner or some level of discipline if you really want to try to better yourself. So if you can't even read some books and practice a few, if you don't work for you, like there's some of those practices I try, I'm like, well, this doesn't work. But I always try, 3 or 4 times. Well, you don't know. Some things work for me, some things don't.
Yeah.
And then we also had an idea as well. So say we've got 50 things on there, or 10 things, whatever it is, trying to look over, try, like pick 3, pick 5, whatever it is. Having an assigned person is almost the go-to person, or not even necessarily the master, but just like a coach or a guide you can look up to. So there's certain systems that every one of us here practices that I'd say that we have at least a working proficiency in. So that kind of works on building up that student-teacher aspect.
That way you might not necessarily impress your preferences upon that person. You have the working knowledge of these 5 systems that all basically do the same thing for the different character personalities and temperaments of people. Yet it's like being very careful not to impress your point of view as like this is the path to get there. Like no. Being able to have that eagle eyes view of everything going on, be like, oh, this person really likes this, so I'm going to help coach them in this and maybe connect them with someone else who's more of an expert on this particular way of being. This way, we're allowing for the infinite freedom of expression and personality types without impressing what our ego's view of how things should be upon that student, because that would be a violation of free will and actually a form of like almost spiritual teacher abuse that way. But
Yeah, so say it's somebody that wants to study some meditation types, okay? Say, Jim, that you're their coach or their teacher or whatever terminology. We haven't figured out the terminology, but you get the gist. You are the one, okay? And you're working with that person, maybe offering maybe offering a little bit of coaching, or taking them a step further, and you find they're asking questions about something not familiar. And it's not necessarily a meditation practice. Maybe it's, well, what about this threefold breath I heard? Or what about certain? What about some of these yoga poses? Like, well, actually, I could teach you some of that, or I can refer you to somebody that's much stronger. So it'll be a good system for us to. So the initial phase will be kind of coaching some of the new people, and it's not like it's going to be a lot of self-study. We want to make sure we're available to them and ask some questions.
Yeah.
The most important part is that the 3 months we're thinking is for them to make all the decisions on what they're going to do and starting to do it. And if they show a hunger and a desire, because we don't want to just say, hey, you seem like you're spiritually inclined, or hey, you seem like you want a better community, come with us. Because we want we make sure everybody that's come along for the ride is in it for the right reasons, because they want to be there. So we figure doing the self-study first. If they show aptitude and they enjoy it and they want to go further, then we actually pull them into whatever they need.
yeah, we were talking a little bit from there. Maybe it's not even a moving initially into a direct, like now you're a member and initiated. Another period of say 6 to 9 months, like a probation period that might not be the name, where you are more affiliated with, you're directly working with somebody, but you got your foot in the door, but you haven't fully committed. Now that you did the student type thing, you see what the curriculum is, you got an idea. Now really get your foot in the door, see what it's going to be like to really be dedicated to this, working with this guild. If you're going to be able to show up to meetings, whether they be online, whether they be physical, whatever meeting we use for that. And then perhaps it's 6 months, perhaps it's a year, whatever time it is, when the person is really ready, and when we feel they're ready, one of us would sponsor them in a way, be like, oh yeah, I know that guy Joe well enough. Now I think he's a pretty good, well, what do you, I Nick, you're like, I haven't really talked to him that much. I'm like, well, I've been working with him a lot, and I really think that he's ready. That way it's a sponsorship program, and saying we know the person well enough to actually invite them into the guild proper, where at that point, they'll start be given responsibilities of the guild. So there's still a probation where you're doing some of the work, you're getting in with it, then you finally come into the organization where there may be dues at that point to help support the organization and all that. But still, for those first 2 periods, you're outside of it, you're really testing the waters, and during the second period of probation, we're really able to see where that person's at, if they're going to work, and if everything's really cool, then you're invited in, and they weren't just for 3 months, they can just great, they're already playing with it for half a year, maybe closer to a year before they actually really come in. And if somebody had a very strong aptitude, we could always, be like, you're right.
Process.
Yeah. And something along those lines. And then there would be still quite a few more teachers, more commitment in that probationary period, but it'd still be very basic.
Yeah.
There'd be some minimal instruction, but still, here's a whole like cupboard of ingredients, and you want to make something that's going to work and take her. You got to draw from all these practices. And one of the huge things there is over that period of time, encouraging people to study all these different modalities and methods of self-help to what the Buddha's teaching in freaking the Dhammapada stuff to Gnostic Christianity, that the goal is going to be the same of getting more in touch with that energy, that light within, which is the center of all religions, which is the center of all practices. Be it self-help, you're trying to get more in touch with yourself and get better. Even if you're coming at it from the business aspect, half these things talk about you got to know what you really want and get in your heart. You're saying the same freaking thing. And the person starts to see this from all around, realizing we have modern day philosophy, some of the ancient philosophy, they're going to start to synergize and come together of this all encompassing understanding. At least it's going to plant the seeds in the mind that the paths are many, but it's all this one way. and the person can start, they can still work with their religion. I don't care if you're a Christian, I don't care if you're an Islam, as long as you're in a benevolent belief system, you can use this technology for it. Because all this stuff is tech that we're giving. We're not trying to give a belief system.
Yeah.
And it's really offering all these amazing different points of view be reconciled into one thing, a person choose their own path. And lots of time to do that before they come in proper. Then maybe when we come in, by then we have some strength, some of the past. But like, oh, you're more of a business-minded person, so you can start to serve the guild with this, and also we do more training. And hey, you're real good. First people, maybe you're gonna head this one up because you've gotten to that point because you know more than we do. You might have tried that person right there.
Yeah.
And then we start to build and grow into specialties where you can still be a business person and a healer and this and that. And then we're getting to technicalities there. But the whole beginning, that stuff's not even there. You're not expected to choose your path until you know yourself a little bit and you're starting to have some experiences with these actual practices, which are designed to ignite that fire and that light within yourself. That's the whole purpose of these meditations, these practices, and all these religions is really to get to a point in yourself that you realize that the kingdom of heaven is within you, above you, all around you. You're breathing it, you're living it, and when the inkling of that understanding is birthed within the heart, there's a whole new aspect of power, wisdom, and love, and personal responsibility to walk righteously, whatever righteously means in this world, and to do good and to reap what you sow. And when people are at that level of responsibility and understanding, now, like, oh man, they're at a point where you can't really turn back. You get to that point, like, no, you can't go back to sleep. You bring people to that point, then they're ready to really go upon the path.
Yeah, so a lot of what Brian and I have been talking about, as well as what it's going to look like, the different structures, different trees, leading up to that. And pretty much we definitely agreed that that second period of time we're talking about is just really going to be focusing on practices and starting to explore, what those different orders or branches or whatever you want to call them. Okay. We don't have a name set in stone yet. We had a couple ideas. Brian and I have been bouncing so many ideas off, so it's just been really trying to. What do you think about this? I don't know. What do you know about that? I don't know. What's next for everybody about this? What about this? So the initial secondary phase is going to be all about, taking and listening to that person and giving them the tools to make successful practices. Whether it's they pick 40 things they're doing or whatever, or whether it's 3 to 4 core ones, or just something to work on itself mastery. Because some of the things that Brian and I have been talking about that we'd like to teach is not really something that someone can just jump into without having, you know what I mean? That'd be like me sitting. That'd be like if Nick tried to explain high finance to me without saying, "Here's a book on some of this stuff, and here's some terms." So it's giving them that little bit of period of time to build the practices, get comfortable with some of us in the guild, start to see like, oh, well, these people, okay, so I can join these guys, will teach me about that, these guys will teach me about that. But really kind of let them come into their own. Maybe that initial phase is only 3 months, maybe it's a year. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, it could be shorter or longer depending on the person. But I know that there are a lot of people that are way beyond us, that we get into finding, and the last thing we want to do is say, listen, you need to go through your entire grace period before you're allowed to. No, that's silly. That's too corporate. That's too corporate.
God sent me here to try to help you guys. What are you saying?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the close-up view of what we're talking about. The kind of the back out view, we were speaking about curriculums, and I got everybody's kind of ideas for curriculum, and thinking it's good. We'll need to have some sort of online presence, but a physical presence is also powerful. And our eventual goal is obviously to have different groups of us all over the world. It's not like there's just going to be one Mecca and everybody comes, because we're not doing that.
Once a year, we'll have a big party.
Yeah. So having an online presence is obviously important. for some of the initial stuff. But I think the deeper somebody goes, physical presence, I think, is more powerful. But down the road, it won't really be an issue because we're going to be creating unlimited money. So there's going to be unlimited places everywhere people will be able to go. I think some of the basic finance and investing thing is definitely important. I think educating people on how not to spend $100 in their wallet is smart, just in general. So it's definitely, we should come up with like a crash course. You guys have both sent over some really, I liked it. It was kind of, you covered a lot, high-low financial topics. That's great. We should definitely do that. And also too, Brian has been adding some guild books or some things to our Google Drive, some different esoteric stuff, some of the other orders, some of the other things that he's very interested in. So I think kind of taking a little bit, parsing together what a beginner's package looked like. Maybe it's maybe there's an introductory video or two that's not preachy on anything, but just, hey, this is some stuff here, and then we've got like, all right, well, here's 20 topics like we were talking about before. Like for instance, basic investing. You obviously know a lot more than I do about it. So, maybe Jim, you're teaching, all right, well, here's, if anyone's interested in investing, I'll give you a quick rundown. Here's a couple articles, something. So, and then you would be the guy talking to them. Maybe it's, like I said, meditation. And we've got Brian marked down there. So, a lot of similar things with the curriculum. I like where you guys are coming from. So I figure if we take a little bit of what each of us have to offer and roll it into some kind of beginner thing, because it's super important that we let them do the self-study. I think.
Yes.
I think. Yeah. Because let's face it, we were all forced to go to kindergarten. Does that mean that we were good kindergarten students? Yes. Nap time. But in the end, we want someone to come and see what's available. And we don't want to give off that you must come with us right now vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's kind of a little bit we've been working on. Next week, we plan on going a little bit deeper. We want to start talking about potential, what names to the guild actually looks like. I know that we have a Google Drive document that's got a bunch of names on there. Brian and I are going to think of some names and throw them out there to you guys, and we're going to kind of see what everybody thinks about those, because the guild is only going to cut it for so much longer. I think having an actual name behind it, whatever it is be powerful. So what are some of you guys' thoughts over there?
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. I've got all these ideas running through my head now.
Okay, good. Yeah. Feel free to email or correspond with Brian and I. Like I said, we're thinking in a very traditional, like society type deal. So there's obviously more magical stuff that we're thinking of and more esoteric stuff. And I know that you guys have a different focus as well. So just whatever way we can package it all up, make it delicious, and really capture the flavor of what we want. So I think if we have, some of the basic, like some of the basic financial stuff, the finding clarity in life first, man, that is powerful. Can you imagine if somebody came in to learn about some of our teachings and they read this entire course on clarity and they realized, what the hell am I doing? And then they just leave. We might have made a huge impact in a person's life. No, I'm being serious.
That's all they needed,
Yeah, that's all they needed. So how powerful would it be to give somebody the information to change your life permanently?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I'm even thinking of like some delivery methods, just because of a couple of the things that I've done recently with like an email course and then the larger scale course. And then it's like all of these things just lead to each other. So this weekend, Jim and I are doing, it's called a summit. So it's a little bit different format, but it's just like 10 to 15 minute videos. Yeah. And well, it's all one topic, but I think there's supposed to be 10 of them. So that kind of a format might give us an idea too. I'm almost thinking of the way that the larger course that I did handled the communication, because they sent an email every week that just kind of, sort of pinged you to do the next thing. And
Yeah.
that might be helpful for us. And then maybe the way that this summit is set up, where there are, so say we have, 10 different tracks or things that we want them to learn about. So maybe there's a video and, some, like a reading list and whatever we have for each track. That might be a good format for providing it.
Yeah, well, I think another really important thing to go along with is how we're just having somebody that's who's assigned to watch that person or whatnot. So you'll also have that personal interaction. So one thing that's great is that if somebody can reach out and have that conversation, it's good. But at the end, let's say it's a 3-month period of time. Well, if I sit down with someone, I'm like, hey, what did you learn, or what, tell me about the things, that you looked into, whatever. So what someone might say to me about meditation might be like, oh, okay. Well, they might say to Brian, because he's more versed in it. That's why I think it's super key. They also have like an assigned person, because people learn different. People learn different ways, different paces. And I think having an online presence is definitely powerful. We need to make sure too we're able to also accommodate people in person. Because not everybody might be comfortable learning online. I mean, I'm not sure.
I think both could be.
Yeah, both are powerful.
Synergy
Yeah,
is super powerful, especially like you're talking how the email pings put a reminder. Maybe it's a once a week. Well, send us an email about what you studied, what you learned. Even if one of us just glance at it for 20 seconds, you're taking the time to write, and we can put that in a file and then go back, and when the assessment's there once a month, say we have a once a month check-in call with this 3-month person. Oh, I see you did this, this, and this, and I see you progressed. Tell me what you got out of this course of study, or that one. I love the idea of the pings, getting people reminding, having them write big old 2 or 3 paragraph things. Yeah, we just gotta glance at it. The fact that they're writing it is what's the most important thing.
even meeting those people in person.
Then doing that, if
Yeah.
it's possible to meet in person or a phone call, I'd like the in-person idea better. We would have this file, this interaction, because really when we think about it, and this is where the beauty is, the order gets bigger. It's not like you're going to be stuck with 50 people to be corresponding.
No.
It's everybody below is going to have the job, and that's the combination of real human interaction, because you can't bypass the actual body language and the intonation of a person's voice. They can be a hell of an essay writer, but it's like it could be just total bullshit coming from their voice and body language, and a person could be all cracked out. Like you don't know until you actually are in some sort of proximity with them, which even a talk on the phone is part of that. But
Yeah, well, I think it's powerful the online presence and the reminders, like, hey, what did you learn this week? Or hey, your next thing is to talk to whatever 3 people are assigned, whatever things you're doing, set up a meeting with them or a phone call or something like that. So I think that's powerful. And even having an online content delivery for some of the stuff we were talking about, like maybe some of like the life clarity purpose, or maybe there's a little 15-minute, hey, this is your 15 minutes cool intro to investing. You get like quick 15-minute rundown of like, here's some stuff you need to read. This is this and this, or maybe the summit where everyone, maybe there's 10 videos and they're 20-minute videos, and then someone's got to watch videos 1 through 3 this month, and so I think it's definitely effective.
Yeah.
Because and something like this, I mean, we could have people all over the world, really, But Brian and I specifically were talking about also having that physical meeting, that physical, space.
it's more important that we come together, like just the other weekend. We were coming together, eating and feasting and talking outweigh any of the actual things that we got done, and just sharing that space in the union and community is huge, huge, huge. When we're actually together, that's where the real teachings come in. That's why you have all these lineages and these monks that live together. That's why you have these people in the Hindu and Buddhist stuff, they're all sitting with the wise men. Like they can just be sitting there saying nothing. They're getting the vibration, the essence of that energy. And when we come together in physical proximities, the friendships are built on deeper, deeper levels. The community, the love, and the information is traveling through the field in a way that is beyond mere intellectual conceptualization and internalization of like, oh yeah, I learned about that. Well, it's like, are we sharing it? Are we creating it? Are we truly living it? It's not about just assimilating knowledge. It's about actually doing something with that knowledge and acting and becoming wise. Because it's one thing to know something, but if you behave in a completely different way, you don't know shit. It's masturbation at that point. So it's really, this is where it solidifies when we come together, we're talking, we're in that space, and we're just sharing that space and really building the unity and bonds of the fraternity, of the guild, of the order, of this family we're building. Because as that builds and grows more, we're inspired to serve, help, and uplift one another. And as one goes higher in these orders, these degrees, it becomes more about service. Like if you're up in the fifth, sixth degree, you're probably going to spend a few hours a week at least on phones with people, serving people. You become more and more service oriented. And at that point, the guild is supporting the people more when they're at that level, probably financially and everything, supporting people more and more because they're getting more of their time. The service increases, and as we're hanging out with the people more and more, we'll be having that fan. Oh man, I can't wait till next month and going out to the temple in Milwaukee to go see them. And it just becomes this exciting, beautiful, like feeling of I'm so excited and love to do this because I love these people. I'm going to go hang out with them. That's in these orders where the most powerful part is building the community. So we're not alone in our cell center on the laptop or connecting with people over the computer and reading about things and videos. It's that true human connectivity. That's yeah. So that was the main point that me and Paul were really getting at. Like, how do we really keep that as a centerpiece, mantelpiece of everything, while utilizing the best what we have for delivering data, for courses, for correspondence. Because as many of those things, yeah, it's not going to make sense. It only makes sense to use the best technology, the best tech, and keeping that as the center of focus again and again.
So, to kind of sum up, we really kind of talked about structure, what organization is going to look like. We briefly touched on names. We're going to kind of revisit that again next week. We're going to start throwing together maybe some ideas for curriculum based on what the person straight off the street might look at a list of things to learn about or things we can construct. So I'm going to put a lot of our healing exercises that we've already cataloged, a lot of our just miscellaneous systems that we have in place. Look at those and also look at, because we have to think, there are some people who might be coming in that are financially wizards, or some people that might come in that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. There might be some people coming in that are very spiritually advanced, or maybe they're very deep in their practice. Other people that just they don't know what stretching is, So we just have to make sure that the content's palatable and that everyone can learn from it. But it's not like I don't want to make it so kindergarten.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, I don't want to exclude anybody because of their own where they're at currently anymore. Because it's not about where they are now; it's about where they're going to get. About where we're all going to be.
That's where it's
So,
maybe way advanced. You can still kind of jack their minds a little bit when it sees.
Yeah.
let me ask a question.
Sure.
So kind of going back to Brian's thought of needing to have more sort of one-on-one communication with these people. Should we do something early on that's basically, you could send even just a question or two once someone has expressed an interest and kind of gauge maybe where they should start. Like, oh, maybe you've already got your finances, you've got that, but what you really need help with is emotional stuff. And, is there a way that we could maybe gauge that very early on? Maybe it's even when they sign up, there's some kind of uptake that they have to do, whether it's a call or, I don't know how many people are going to be coming through this funnel, so I don't necessarily want to say, let's talk personally to every single one of them. Maybe we can at the beginning, but just to give them an idea of, okay, what's going to be the most valuable for you will be these 3 things. Start there. And they'll get some value out of that, and then they might move into some of the other areas that they might either think they already know, but don't necessarily. And, if they like what they see in the first part, they might move into those and get some value out of those too. Or, like you said, they might, do the one that they wanted and move on, and it's okay too.
Well, I personally don't really believe this is my thought. I mean, I'm only one of the 5 people here right now, but I don't really think we should be diagnosing anybody. I think the best thing is, instead of writing a prescription, is just let them say, hey, because if somebody comes in, they're like, if someone sits down, they're like, wow, that's really cool. I could learn about meditating, or I could learn about maybe some basic basic physical practice. Maybe see the picture. Maybe someone's like, cool, I could learn about some finance. All right, cool. I could also learn about meditating. So I think it'd be kind of actually interesting to see what course they're applying themselves in kind of the electives that they pick. If it's somebody that we kind of think is just totally spiritual, and they're picking up all different. They're picking up stuff kind of off the radar. And then, after they have that initial period where they're reading, I think, or doing their self-study, I think once they actually decide to get into it, that's when we're starting to teach them some more of the advanced basic stuff before they choose where they want to go. So I think maybe the initial stage, when we're having that interview with them, after they've already done some of the self-study, then I think that'd be a good time to say, oh, well, are there any particular topics that you're interested in? Here's some of the things that we really try to focus on here.
Yeah, we could even frame it as frame the question as, how interested, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested would you be in learning about topic A? How interested would you be in learning more about topic B? And we could just throw them out there, and then they can say, yeah, I'd be very interested in learning about this one. No,
yeah, I like that gauging, because if it's just a check the box, a yes or a no might not be as powerful. If someone's like, I'm fairly interested in learning about that, or to put like a 1, like I want absolutely nothing to do with it. So it'd be kind of interesting to see, because all in all, I want people from all different walks of life. I personally want to focus more on the esoteric and the ritual work, and the community and the family. And I would like to teach stuff, on my earth-based religion as well. But I'd also like to just help people, any way that I can help somebody. Whether it's just teaching them some things that I know how to do, whether it's just nature appreciation, or whether it's leading a ritual in front of 80 people, just leading a group meditation. That's my vision, of what I would like.
So I guess I have something to say. We've been talking for a while, so it's a little bit different train of thought. But the thought is there might be a potential option of this more one-on-one, while there's also something more systemized being constructed at the same time. So the one-on-ones, then it's the in-person, maybe it's not just one-on-one, but we have that more tangible relationship versus another order, like maybe we're already seeing 2 orders, which is the system that could be some sort of digital mechanism where we're specifically, and maybe we're doing it based on a quiz scenario where we're assessing them, maybe we're not because we don't want to play therapist, and we're just presenting certain teachings in a way that's going to attract those kind of people. So maybe the first, I'm just kind of visualizing also in terms of action of what the next 3 months could look like. So we're building this structure for the self-cultivation, the development of the person on all levels, spiritual, emotional, physical, and mental, and that's being developed. And then there's also the component of kind of what we're talking about, or what Jane and Jim have, I guess, have been presenting with the online component. And I think we can align these things, but if they're both getting built at the same time, we're still on the same page and able to create, maybe it's the clarity, maybe it's any insert teaching that could be that first foundational piece, so that there's that component that's moving, and then the other component that what Brian and Paul are talking about, which is the structure of this more esoteric order, where it's the practices and then individually working with them to see exactly where they're at. Because that one-on-one, and again, it could be 1-on-5 or whatever, but that connection where it's not a kind of macro, not a public kind of a thing where we're talking a lot of people, but it's more of a micro, more individual. We will get a sense of where they're at. We'll get to know these brothers and sisters. Are you into meditation or yoga or money? We're hanging out with these people. We're building relationships so that we're able to have that more maybe the traditional martial artist or Buddhist, or this even a lot of esoteric orders of Europe where they're teaching apprenticeship, because I think that is very valuable. But I also think, like with, again, not to think about the Masons too much, but that organization where they have the public and then they have the smaller group as well. So I guess the idea to present, would this be something that if there were somehow we had 2 of these being constructed in the next couple months, meaning, all right, we know how we're going to be taking in this first round, while there's also this digital thing being built. This first round also, it already seems like there's a handful of people that we've already identified. So it's not even like we need to be recruiting that hard. We already kind of have a good idea that at least a couple, if not maybe might be able to create 10 people in the next month. And so we have those 10 people, and we're getting them into this introductory period over the 3 months with the books, with the practices, exactly like the vision and better. And then while that's also happening, there's the component online, which is also an internal artifact, which is going to be helpful for the people who we're interacting with now, as well as the people 10 years from now, in the continuum. So thinking about individual passions as well, and where everybody is desiring to focus on, that could be an option for 2 things being built, 2 orders being built at the same time.
I like the idea of having the built. Had the idea of definitely building these online artifacts and teaching mechanisms, and that being continued as the next wave starts to create their own teaching, so we're never looked up to as superior master teachers. I'd rather be more basics when it comes further. Not like, oh, that's right, he's the shit, he knows all. It's like, no. If I do this right, the people I teach to do this will be teaching a lot of the people below. Yes, there'll be certain things we're working with, but as this can be systemized and this great archive of teaching, I'm seeing this would be like almost having a library of books in a digital manner. Same as that concept of an upgraded library. There's something to be said about physical books, yes, but I'm seeing how that artifact can be there, all these teaching mechanisms, these ideas, and then it's with that. It's like, okay, did you do course 7A? Now come together and you're going to go meet with Paul, who's the wizard over here, about knowing about he's a wizard over here, knowing about how to do the astral travel stuff. Oh, you did all this coursework and you can have a meeting with him. Here's iteration 2, the more advanced thing, that. It's video media, it's audio media, it's PDF, it's actual physical books.
Well, once
all
you
these
read
things in the system, then you're ready to go back. You can read B. Okay, you got an idea. I don't have to waste my time scrolling these.
Yeah.
Seeing how the 2 can be mutually supportive and uplifting and evolving something so much greater. This is just a basic concept.
Yeah,
Well,
that's exactly what I was thinking, Brian. Was
You said
yeah, like as you have each of these different, whatever the topics are, like once we know what the topics are and what, you know, what components we want in each one, whether it's, you know, books, videos, systems, you know, whatever those things are, we could each take a topic or two and kind of flesh out what's in that 3-month period and share with each other and, you know, kind of get that set. And then anything that we have to develop could be done for that, you know, during that first 3-month time period. Because if we've got books and things, that's, yeah.
I like that concept, so I don't want to run too much farther over on time.
Well, I'm thinking, what else is more important than this? This seems to be, even if we don't do a round table.
Well, we got what we need now. Because the next thing I'm going to say is, why don't each of us come up with a list of topics that they would feel comfortable creating some sort of content on? I'm not saying.
Well, here's something too. I was thinking, do we want individually each of us to create a course? Do we want to have subcommittees? Like my thought is, there's already 2 subcommittees that are merging. In fact, it almost seems like we have 3 orders. There's the Unity Financial. There's this idea that Brian and Paul are envisioning, and then there's the Jim and Jane potential of the course. So is this the subcommittees right here? And of course, we're all intermingling. I mean, because to be honest, much because I love the idea of the digital course that Jim and Jane are talking about, and I want all of us to dedicate our time to it, but just knowing how the time commitments are laid out from the group. I love the idea of what you're talking about. Like these I see are the path to get to where we're going X years from now. And if this is the passion right now of where we want to focus for the next couple of months, meaning all of us individually and personally, I want to support all of it. But I know right now I'm most suited to be focusing on Unity Financial.
Yeah. Well, we don't want you, Nick. You work on that. We got this covered.
Yeah.
You just take
Funny
notes.
that you can take the rest of the time off.
You just take notes and create money for us. I got it. Just take notes. We got it. I think, okay, so how about for, I think that's a good angle to go on. So how about Brian and I are going to come up with a list of some topics that we would like to think of.
Mhm.
And I'm sure he's going to have stuff that's way different than mine, you know, even though we both kind of have, we're kind of spiritually inclined. I've got way different stuff, I'm sure he does. Why don't you guys come up with a list of some modular things that you like to teach, and then Nick, work on Unity Financial.
Yeah, I was gonna say
So
Brian
then,
had a list from where was it, Brian? From some other teachers you've been working with. It was a list of like 8 or 10 things. You know what I'm talking about?
It was the 8 aspects of life. That was the awakening of the people.
Can you share that with us again?
Yeah. So what was the question, Jane?
Oh, I was gonna say, should we focus on like creating topics that fit within those aspects of life so that we kind of cover all the aspects of life?
No, because immediately when we conform somebody else's system, we're limiting what we want to do. So let's just come up with.
Share that system though, because it is interesting.
I see what you're saying on that, but yet this isn't exactly somebody else's system.
Right.
It's a breakdown of actually they took it from the yogic systems, which was built in the Hindu, the Buddhist, the systems, of course, of life. Just saying that using this, not using their terminology, but being able to break it down into different categories of what she's saying, like different aspects of life. So what we're talking about here is like you have the spiritual aspects, the mental, the thought aspects, the emotional aspect of life, the like behavioral aspects of life, like what you're actually doing. Then you have the relationship aspects, your relations to other people, the environmental, your exact environment and everything around you, your wealth, including time, energy, money. Like these ideas. Would it be cool just to play with the idea, not even using that system, but to subcategorize in our own minds? If we each came up with one idea for a course or more, if we were inclined in each of those aspects, it would just give us a greater list and make us think a little bit more out of our natural inclination of me always just wanting to talk about abstract spiritual shit.
Yeah, I think that'd be powerful. So why don't we focus on doing that for next week?
Mhm.
Just why don't we all come up with a list of one of the reshare that system. Okay.
Yeah, I'll share that.
Yeah, reshare the system, and let's all try to come up with just one course idea from that. You know, even if it's not something we're 1,000% comfortable with. And then maybe if there's two of them that we feel we find in each one category, great. Let's just try to get a feel for what all topics that we think we're good at. I know that Jim had put out the skill aptitude thing on Google Drive. You remember that?
Yeah. Early on.
That is a good artifact. We can look back on that. Maybe that's something too that we should update recently. Or maybe we use that to draw inspiration when we teach people about. I'm sure we all have, I mean, we're all intelligent people. We probably all have plenty of things to do. So why don't we write down some of those for next week and have those prepared for the meeting?
So is the goal then next week to make, I'm just trying to think on the continuum. So if next week we're making a decision maybe on where we're aiming, then the following week, the schedule is the coaching week. That's December 6th. And then the following week is December 13th if we're looking at the schedule. So if we're aiming to have something in motion by January, then thinking about the next 5 weeks, I'm wondering what is the best order of operations to get to January.
This is fine because we're not trying to make the equation work.
Right, so
We're
we're
gonna
gonna
let
force it. Right?
Yeah, we're gonna let it flow naturally. You know what I mean?
I mean, we really got to
January, February, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we start thinking about these and literally, we get to a point, if we have a little bit of something, so it's not gonna be that hard. Here's a list of books, here's some exercises to do, here's a few exercises.
We'll call your
Now you got three, yeah.
Right.
I mean, really, it comes to that
Yeah.
point.
Well, that's what
My
Brian and I
thought is
were
that if
talking
we're already
about.
at that point, then why aren't we putting that into Artifact? Because it sounds like we're ready to go.
But
Because
because we're not rushing it.
Yeah.
We're gonna
We're further
keep on.
developing.
Yeah.
As we're
So-
talking through, it's gonna refine itself, and it's not like, it's still a spherical moving idea, which is becoming more refined, not like, bam, that's done, that's it.
Right, but I'm thinking from a spherical time perspective, with the artifacts, it's going to give us power to be creating in the future as well as in the current now. And thinking about, you guys have some amazing
It's
ideas.
written down, it's just not trying.
Yeah, we have all. Brian
I
and I have
haven't,
been logging all of our stuff.
I
Because
haven't,
we're not on Trello when we're on hikes and stuff. You know, we've just been talking about it, writing it on paper, and formulating it. And Brian has how many pages in a notebook?
quite a few.
Yeah, like 5 or 6, just full pages of us writing all this stuff down. So our thought is, you know, by January we could take initiative. Does that mean January 1st there better be 10 of them signed up? No. It just means I have a strong feeling that we'll have a good indication of what that looks like, which is some of the basic stuff. We already have a lot of that already created in the artifacts that we already have, all the healing exercises. How hard is it going to be for me to just, you know, link? All right, here's an article on EFT. Here's an article on bee pollen. Here's an article on the benefits of Thai massage. Here's an article on, you know, the different. It's easy for us to do. I mean, we're just kind of seeing what the best method. I think it'd be interesting to see what people want to think of as some sort of offering, because originally, you know, our first thing we're talking about here, we're just throwing people on the path to do a lot of self-study. That's not us creating modules for them.
Right.
That's
We're already talking about the next step. We're already talking about the second phase after they've been through 3-month self-discovery. We're already thinking about the next step. We already got it covered. It's just I'm curious to see, you know, like what we can formulate now, because it's good to be 3 steps ahead, which is what we're kind of talking about. But I mean, really, I think in the next.
Because I'm just thinking, because I agree with what you're saying, and we definitely don't want to be forcing anything. But I'm thinking from a planning perspective, and I guess, you know, maybe planning is on my mind lately. That's why I'm thinking of this. And just what 2018 is going to look like. Again, I'm big into, that's exactly what I'm focused on right now, is creating 2018 financially and just with activities as well. So with the Guild 2018, thinking about what you're saying, okay, so we got this first round, sounds like pretty clarified, although granted, we'll figure out more between now and the end of the month. So thinking about, okay, if You have some sort of written documents. Maybe then we're minimizing delay from repeating ideas. Maybe the plan is a way to get the ideas out so that there's not energy leakages and rehashing the same ideas. And that's why typically I'm a proponent of planning. And so I'm not saying that's happening here. I'm just thinking planning is the creation of the, so like the agendas, like all of the systems on Google Docs, like these notes. It gives some sort of structure because we were on the same page and we could follow along. Like these are all in my head, but being able to put it out there to share, the idea is, all right, now our historical artifact, as well as in the moment, we're as focused on the ideas as possible, as well as we're playing a continuum game, because there is the potentiality of 6 months go, or X months go down the road, and we're still talking. And
Well, that's not going to happen. Not what I'm thinking.
you're a doer, you're an
Yeah.
educator. I'm not even saying.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to put that out there. Again, planning's on my mind, and that's the reason planning is important. Not saying that it's happening, but that's what I
No, proper planning prevents poor performance.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
if you don't know,
right.
if you don't know the 5 P's, you know, you've never worked a job before, you know. I think that's the key. I'm really curious as to, because the first thing is we're going to put them on autopilot. So we've got, it's like T minus 3 months to come up with the next phase of the curriculum. I'm not saying put it off at all. I'm just saying the January we start taking initiates or pre-diligence, whatever the terminology is. Yeah. We already have systems kind of created for that. And Brian and I will talk next week again more clearly. We're actually going to talk
Well,
about
and here's an interesting thing too, you guys. If we know 5 to X people who are going to join, then maybe we want to be focusing to cater to them, and not.
I don't think we're trying to cater to anybody in the way. What I think we need to do is we need to get a fire lit under your ass and see if they're gonna keep throwing fuel on it or if it's gonna burn out. We give them a light. Give them a light. Here's some of the information. Are you willing to do the work? Because we're not trying to force anybody in any forced revolution or convince them to do the damn.
Right.
I mean, it's like, do we really need to cater to these particular person that we're prescribing it? We want to give them a base thing of going, wow, there's all this potential out of knowledge and understanding, but it needs to be self-driven, self-motivated.
It's
I'm
got
not going to be a
this.
person there with a spoon trying to say, come on, here you go.
Yeah, we
you
gotta-
do
Well,
this, you
but
do this."
when we're
Like, no.
communicating with people, we want to be respectful of where they're at. And if we're communicating with somebody who wants to join and they're at a particular level because of certain emotional traumas, certain mental models they currently have, whatever their awareness, whatever their development is, and they want to join, and we say, sorry, gotta do it, go, here's the self-study program, and they want to have a different dynamic, then that seems to be like a dissonance.
Right.
And I'm only saying, I don't want to be saying hypotheticals that aren't going to happen. The reason I'm thinking is if we have an idea, maybe we're getting very serious on who is this first round of people, and then from that, we're understanding how we're communicating with them. Because I'm just thinking from a communications perspective.
I'm putting this
Well,
also
okay.
from the orders that have existed for long periods of time. This is how they all do it.
But they're also way further ahead than we are. We're still,
Well,
That's
another
also
thing,
how they-
another thing too, if someone's like, I don't want to go through a 3-month self-study progress. So if they're not willing to commit to themselves for 3 months, show their dedication, then how the hell are they going to dedicate to us?
That-
Right.
that's exactly some of the people. If they're
so this
really-
is like a public people then, not the
What's
people
that?
we know.
the stuff for the student thing. This would be some of the people we know. Even
I think even the people we know, we should have some, and then, you know, obviously if someone is like, I mean, if Gandhi or, you know, the Dalai Lama is like, hey, I want to join, I'm going to be like,
there can be
all right, well, you know, okay, you know, that's different, but.
there can be specialty exceptions. If at some point we're all like, okay, this person, we can put them in that way. She's been around, and it was just kind of like, oh, she's like, God was Greek, by the way. But looking at that, yeah, there can be the specialty things for the public, and even some of the people that we know that aren't like our close, super in their circle.
Well, the people that I know, I wouldn't just put them in. They're friends of mine. But I know that their awareness, I kind of feel like one of them's pretty spiritually aware, but you know what? my perception based on it. I don't want to give somebody a pass because
Right.
you know
Yeah.
we need to see it. Because if we're like, oh, come check this out, and we see that there's somebody that we really thought was going to be great, and then they just completely they're like they don't give a shit, then I would rather that we're screening out some of those people before we let them into what the group or the guild or the order, blah, 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 whatever it is. You know what I mean? Before they get further.
This is a key that shows that people are ready too. That's one of the things, like one of the ideas in the orders book. I think it's like saying that the whole idea when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Like if the student isn't ready to do that initial work, they don't have the eyes to see or ears to hear.
Well, if the student's
That's
not
why
ready to do
this
the initial
stuff-
work, they're not even a student.
Like the student thing out there, you can post that shit online all day. Here's student curriculum. For anybody who's interested in this particular order, read this. It could be up there. It can go out with courses and however it goes there, I can hand the student it's not guild sensitive documents. I can be a person like, well, here's this little pamphlet about the student stuff with the websites and the ideas, what we are, who we are, and if you want to know more, check this out, read, and there's instructions, and like if you want to be a student, there's no commitment, and this can go out to anybody without any
This is
social
the
dispensation.
public, yeah, and
It's
then
a public statement.
so if they make it through that, then they're in that second waiting period. That second waiting period is when there's still instruction going on and everything else like that, and there's finding out really kind of where they lie in a lot of things. And in that second period, it's not as public. I mean, we don't really want to just give everybody a pass. I think obviously there should be exceptions.
That's a testing ground too, right there. To see if that person leaked the information. You don't put anything too sensitive, but they leaked it. That's the person. But that's getting into more minute details. And I mean, it's really cool that we're starting to work out some of these ideas. It's there. I just really am agreeing with Paul, like not trying to cater to anybody particularly at the initial levels. They have to have the self-drive because ultimately it's not me as the teacher that's going to lift them up. I'm going to give some assistance, but it's by your own effort, by your own will and self-dedication that you will evolve spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically at the end of the day. So
Yeah. Because teaching and retaining, two different things. I mean, we can teach people stuff, but if someone isn't really willing to make a dedication to do self-study and do this, and that's almost like somebody that wants to have a argument on a topic that they're completely unfamiliar with. Imagine debate class if you had zero knowledge. Well, we don't want those kind of things.
Agreed.
That's why. So.
All right. I mean, I'm agreeing. I think we
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to keep focusing on this.
Yeah, the important part is the ball's in motion. We're talking about it. We're talking about stuff that 3 weeks ago we didn't talk about.
Agreed. This is
So-
good. I think this is
Yeah.
a great conversation.
So, Brian,
Maybe back to what would be the best actionable thing for next week, and think about that question, because I think I like what you were going to the list idea, but how do we maybe merge that with the plan idea? Is that even emergible? What would be the best next step for next week? Because I like the progress that's going, but just trying to be mindful of time.
well, I was good. I was good.
No, but I still feel like there's still more things to talk about in the guild business.
you gave her
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, I think the more we talk about this, what I have started to outline for the clarity course really follows what Paul and Brian have been doing, where I have kind of like an intro thing that's more of like a self-guided, and
Yeah.
then it goes into what would be like after that 3-month period where they're already an initiate and we're more one-on-one involved with them.
Awesome.
So yeah, so maybe if we talk, if we each come up with our, couple of course ideas this week, and then if we can share them, maybe put them out as Google Docs so we can all see them when we talk, then we could say, okay, well, this much is good to just give to the public, and then this is where we draw the line. And this, you have to have gotten to that next level before you get this information. Maybe that's a,
Yeah, I think that's great. So that's perfect because clarity, defining your clarity is obviously going to lead, like I said earlier, they could be reading and going through that course going, and you know what? That's okay. Or they could be reading and going, wow, you know, I came here wanting to meditate, but actually, I want to learn all about finance. You know what I mean? So I think that's perfect. But I think that's the best course of action is just really kind of a course outline. I mean, really the intro starter thing, we already have a lot of that stuff already just hanging out in Google Drive. So I'll come up with that plan next week. But I still think everybody should have their little course ideas. So that's two actions. One for me personally and one I think for everybody else. Does that sound agreeable? Because I think just seeing what we have to offer, you know, using what we think we could teach people, that's going to really help. Because if we've got like 9,000 people that keep people meditating, but nobody can teach something about this, and it's something we want to teach, then we better find a teacher, right? We better find someone that can teach that topic or start learning now. So it would be good to kind of see what people are thinking also why. Because a lot of the practices or healing activities or books on healthy eating or books on spirituality, that's like copy paste.
Right.
It's easy. I can do that. You know, but what's everybody thinking course wise, you know, for that next step? Because putting somebody on a 3-month self-study course, I mean, that's like, all right, you know, go check that out. You know, January, February, March, come talk to us in April. Bam, April, they love it. You know, April, May, June, they're starting to get into where it's like, oh wow, I'm starting to learn some stuff, starting to meet some people, we're starting to feel comfortable. Then maybe in June we're inducting people into the actual order. Or whatever the hell it is. The lollipop guild. Can you imagine that? In June, full-blooded members of the guild with initiates and fledglings under them, people hungry for knowledge. Can you imagine doing initiation rituals in the summertime? It's beautiful outside, standing there either under a moonlit sky or indoors somewhere nice. And just, you know, yeah. So that's what I think. Do you think that's a fair shape for next week or not? Yeah, fair, yeah. Does that satisfy the plan?
Yeah, so I think that sounds good. And then throwing out there the idea we have the coaching the following week. So that'll be a cool experiment, and I'm pretty optimistic of how that'll unfold. So next week, I love what you're saying, Paul. So then would it be at that point we would recalibrate for the action would be 2 weeks from there, and then the following week we're coaching, just kind of visualizing the next couple weeks into the future.
Yeah, so I think, you know, we go over what we're thinking next week, what everybody's course ideas are. And then since the following week is coaching, what we'll do is we'll come up with a good solid plan after what we have kind of input that will give us something to work on, because the following week we'll be doing coaching. So 2 weeks from then, you know, when we have another actual meeting like so, we'll have some more solid information that we can kind of present after we've had a little bit of time to devour it.
I'm liking this idea. I think we got to a really great point with this. A lot more of the ideas and possibility of these history, mission, seeing the real beauty, coalescence of each of us having more specific and specified skills, strengths, and weaknesses. Like Paul and mine's mind very much able to go into the one-on-one teaching, the esoteric aspects of things, and like that being a thought, and your being a thought, really being able to take so many of these ideas, bring a whole nother perspective, and being able to digitalize, put these things online, have certain aspects automated, attract the people, just the combination of like the marketing skills of being able to build the systems, many skills mix and these think pots and how everything's coming together, how all of us really have these specialties, and really together, even though there might be a little bit of resistance, like we almost got a little bit heated there. Some of we're usually pretty good at not talking on it. We're all like for a minute, but like seeing what comes in that heat and pressure, it's like alchemy. You have the ideas, the base substance of. We didn't really have a clear form of idea of what to do. The container was this meeting. We had the energy, some of the heat, the talking, the ideas, and now we've created this new substance. We take something that was more a base substance and transmuting it into something finer. Here, as we're doing this each time, each of our particular skills, it's really in this coming together, even though we're not going to agree about everything all the time, it can really bring us to that next level, and we can lift each other up. And as more and more people come in, this is really going to build to greater coalescence and mastermind of skills, certain abilities, certain aspects of teaching.
This is 6 of us.
Like that, yeah.
Imagine when there's 20 of us, 30 of us.
Yeah.
What are we gonna come up with then? We're gonna find out soon, all right?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna know. So
2020, the order medal.
sounds great. There you go. I'm ready. I dig it. Feel that.
And then Brown Bucker.
Definitely. So actionable items. So we all have that.
Okay.
To come up with one, and Brian, we send that one thing from each type of life,
Yeah.
or the different subcategories. We try to come up with one, and then I will work on. I'll have Brian. I'm gonna draft the actual world car schedule next week. We're gonna blow out some more time.
Yeah.
I don't think 2 hours before dinner is gonna cut it. I can do some
Yeah.
more.
It's good, oh yeah. Make it a lot earlier.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. So Brian, work on also what it would look like to actually, what that self-study course looks like, topics and thoughts. And then if I have, I might need help, some of the self-study articulation perhaps, like what a video here or whatever, because I'm not the guy for that,
Yeah, well, once we have a name, like we could actually do some kind of, I don't want to call it letterhead necessarily, but like, basically make sure we have our name on everything,
Yeah.
have a consistent look for everything that we do.
Yeah. Okay, excellent.
That's why I get our symbol.
Yep.
Our logos.
So that's really, that's all I had to discuss. We kind of went on a little bit extra there, but I wish that conversation could really transfer all the stuff that Brian and I talked about, because we went off on, it's not just tangents. It's like we were fishing, we were out there, but we were coming back, we were close to the boat too. We had a lot that we were talking about, so a lot of different things that we were kind of excited to share. And,
Yeah. We appreciate the time that you and Brian are sharing together, building that bond while also helping formulate the vision of Guild and giving us a little bit more momentum here as you're taking initiative.
I was cooking and talking this week, and last week we got some really quality hiking in, and then we went back and also discussed it.
Maybe we'll repeat that next week, weather permitting.
Tuesday. So Tuesday on my birthday, I don't know what's going to look like Wednesday or Thursday. On Tuesday, maybe 60 degrees. So
Awesome.
But wait a minute, it was
Yeah, happy early birthday to everybody here.
yeah.
Paul and Brian.
Oh yeah.
Brian, when's your birthday?
Yeah, Brian, when is yours? The 29th?
Sunday,
Sunday.
26th.
Jim's is next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
mine's Tuesday.
That's so awesome.
One after another. All these Sagittarius guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, man. Which is funny because they're all very different personalities. Well, you're like, oh, if you're a Sagittarius, you're this way. I don't know, because I have 2 other of my friends as well that are Sagittarius, and you're nothing like that. So I think when people kind of go off on a tangent, like, I don't know, I know quite a lot of Sagittarius people now, and well,
There's the moon, there's the rising, there's all these houses. So it's quite an interesting science and structure of how they engineer the fractal astrology.
he's going to be teaching a course on that to the initiates.
Yeah,
There you go. Write that down. Write it down. I've seen it in your house hang out. That's
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great thing to teach somebody. I want to know more about it. I'll sign up for your thing too.
All right. Astrology 101.
Okay. So, like I said, that's all we really had to discuss. So I think the next course of action, Nick, want to do a quick roundtable?
So yeah, looking at the time, 8:56.
3 minutes you lost.
So yeah, we can do a quick roundtable. So maybe
I don't really have anything to be honest, because that was my roundtable, was literally what I was that was my week, was thinking about discussing that.
Well, how about we just share one? How about this is a little bit different? I just got inspired because you're right. So maybe share one experience that you've had in the past week that was powerful, victory, and you would like to share with the guild. So any experience.
Okay. So for related to Unity, I got a message from my friend that said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I sent over my wife's paperwork for stuff we're helping with." I was like, "Paperwork? Where did you send your paperwork over?" So she had signed the quote and circled everything and sent it over, and so she was like ready to go. And then he sent the email too. I was letting you know I went ahead and emailed you another referral. I was like, "Great." So I called the lady the other day. I'm talking to her. I was on the phone with her for half an hour. About 10 minutes into the call, I realized I didn't even have to talk to her anymore. She was already sold.
That's amazing.
She's like, "Oh, give me your email. I'll send the information right over." I'm like, "Great." And she was super excited. And she's like, "Oh, I just know that." And she started saying some terminology, okay, loan terminology. And because I had done a lot of research and I'd read up on some contract law, I knew exactly what to tell her. She's like, "Oh man, this guy's not an idiot." You know what I mean? So she's like, "Oh, what constitutes acceleration?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, acceleration. This, and that." And she's like, "Yeah, you're right." I'm like, "I know." Well, I didn't tell her I know, but I was thinking, I'm like, so it was a very powerful moment to get that other referral. And then my girlfriend as well. She's like, "Hey, I was talking to this guy I used to go to college with, and he wants you to help him." So she sent me his information, by the way. This is in the course of 3 days. It was just the sky was raining. So I'm like, great.
Awesome.
So that's it.
Amazing.
And it's nothing spiritual or transcendental, but it was just something cool that happens. Who you got, Nick?
All right, I'll go next. So I had an interesting experience yesterday, continuing education, 8 hours, all day experience. And now I've had multiple events in the past few months, so I can see how this one stacks up compared to the other ones. It is definitely giving a frame of reference in the lower tiers. It was quite challenging to sit through this experience focused on very legal, not very uplifting, not very collaborative things. It was just quite, the energy was very dense. It was actually pretty challenging to be around in this experience. And it's not just the profession. Also, the one I chose, it seems, is perhaps the metaphor would be the Walmart of the continuing education. So their primary marketing as well is mailing. So who is there? All these older people who are overweight, suffering, sick. Just there was a lot of negative comments constantly. It was really challenging from an energetic perspective. Towards the end, I was fidgeting. I got pains. I was not in the best mood, and the energy affected me. And it was a good experience to see. All right, I gotta not be affected by the energy. And then one other piece that was quite amazing. Not only experiencing this experience, which I don't want to be putting myself in again, although I'll probably have to do it one more time to get my education credits. But I observed a speaker who had a pretty strong command NLP, strong command of speaking from a litigation perspective. So he commanded, he was very vehement, and he was throwing the limiting beliefs out and commanding them in such a way that they were being received. And I was aware that he was just saying not good stuff, not good stuff. So, for example, saying things like, "We are here to represent our clients, but we are here to represent the law. The law comes first. We give our duty to the system. You give your duty to the system." And so it was really strong, really vehement, and his hand motions, his NLP was making it clear. Like, and when the client was asking too many questions, you make sure he's not asking the question. Like, he's like shoving the energy down. And I'm just observing this, like, my gosh, what the heck is going on here? And it was just limiting belief, limiting belief, limiting belief. while he's commanding. So I've never really experienced anything like that.
I would like to just seeing that power he wields. You know what I mean? I don't actually want to sit through that, but I would like to, like maybe 20 minutes and just going, wow, that's powerful. And then being able to get up and leave. That'd be good.
So that was my experience to share with the guild.
That's crazy. Well, hey, I know that was something that you put in the back burner doing that. But look at it this way, you got most of it done, right?
Yeah.
How many hours did you get done?
So I got 8 done. I'll go one more time. That's December 29th. And then I have some videos to watch online. And with videos, ideally, I can turn on and mute. And then when the code comes on, I'll plug it in. And that's
So that's for a year, right?
for 2 years. So now
Yeah,
we're
2 years.
until 2019.
And in 2019, you probably won't even need your rosters anymore.
Right.
So look at it this way: this could very well be the last time you.
That's a
So
great point.
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah.
The worst case scenario, you at least got to see NLP, how it's not just used for how not for us to use it.
Exactly.
You got to see that. So it was still educational, it's not the main reason you were there. You probably didn't give a shit what you're saying, you know what I mean? But his performance, his presence, you at least got to mentally document that, which is still learning.
You're right.
All right, so I've been really jumping back into one of the courses with the Awaken Academy stuff with Michael and Ariel. I had another call with them randomly a couple weeks ago, and they like really lit a fire under my ass, so to speak, in a way. And I just started jumping back into the coursework a bit, like where I left off. Like, wow, I left off here like 7 months ago. I'm supposed to be a year course. I'm like, oh, I should have been just about done by now. But it's like, oh, I'm still in the first module 6, and this module has 500 things to do. But jumping back into the work, like I felt really, really awesome with some pre-steps, and it was really easy for me to get right back in and pick up where I left off, so to speak. And just working with this, some of the biggest things I've really taken is upgrading my morning rituals again, like what I'm doing in the morning, especially the importance of commanding these things like pretty much every day. It's okay to choose a day to take off and do other things consciously, but really creating that habit of like, yeah, it's already there. The first thing I do is get up and do my spiritual practice, and I've been getting up quite early in the morning to do that, and like I feel great when I do that. When I'm up, I'm doing my practices that I do. I'm exercising, taking little breaks in there, and then going into the next thing, like a 3-hour working period, 80-20 style, where 2 to 3 hours, I'm getting 8-9 hours of work done. It's because I'm waking up, I'm doing my practices, I'm feeling fucking great, I'm energized, I'm getting everything done. And then it's like 10 o'clock, I'm like, okay, now it's like I gotta go. I may have the rest of the day off, or I might have to go do the other work that right now is creating a good, valuable source of income. But knowing like these things that I'm doing first are the super important, super valuable things I'm focusing on. If it's doing a little bit of the guild stuff, just having 1 or 2 tasks, doing 1 or 2 of those things every day, again and again and again, is huge. And especially working with this coursework, I'm looking at this more and more. Well, the first hour of that, every part of that 2 to 3 hour working period is going to be 3-4 days a week doing this coursework. And also surrendering myself to the genius of like, these people have figured everything out, from the basis of getting a person focused to taking them through and installing systems that work, then adding some of the great content. And as I've seen it over the course of the year, just as much as I've done, like starting with simple things, building up. I'm always wanting to jump way forward, but I gotta get this part done. It's like, no, stop and wait again, and just kind of trust the systems that these people have really built of development, and just seeing that, how it relates to the guild in all these ways. Like these people are genius. They've been doing it for 15 years, had tons of failures, and just like my mind reverse engineering this system so much in time. Like, wow, it's so genius, and I'm super excited to see what's it going to be when I really get into business modules, because this is actually a course that by the end of it, I'm a certified life coach. You probably buy that for $50, but you know, but the whole thing is like they go from everything to creating systems, money to spiritual systems to the complete marketing path. Like all this stuff is there, and just like being able to apply this and just step back again and again. Like, okay, my most important thing is just to do these things that matter all day. Like do this 20% that's going to get me all my results, and the rest of the time it's just cool. So that's like revisiting that and seeing the whole 80/20 another aspect and seeing tons of the awesome results. Which is being that way for a week and a half again. Like, wow, I got more done in this past week than in the past month. Okay, so this is pretty cool. And yeah, just trying to figure out and being with it, staying with it, learning the balance of like sometimes I have later evening clients, which I am phasing out at this moment. I'm very grateful for them. I'm like, you know, I'm not in bed till 11. I ain't getting up at 4 that morning, or it might 1 or 2 days, but after I'm gonna start breaking down after that. Like my body's not gonna like that. I can force myself up. Learning where that balance is. Cause like I want to be up every day at 4 in the morning to do my practice no matter what. Yeah, yeah, a lot, but yeah. So it's finding that balance with everything. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Well, it's super powerful what you said about the system you're going through, because going through that system, you're seeing some of the systems that we could be employing.
Yeah.
You're firsthand how you're talking about, well, I want to just jump ahead, but they have it laid out, so I have to do stuff first. That's literally what we just talked about.
Yeah.
How it was like, well, what if somebody wants us to jump ahead? Well, no, we should still have them go see.
Yeah.
And it will serve its purpose. Because how do I know that you know 1 + 1 = 2? How do I know? Was I there in school with you when you learned it? I can't just assume you know it, right? So sometimes that's kind of like the systems you're going through. Some of it might seem basic, but it's all necessary. Plus, life coaching, that's great. I have life coaching modules on my thing I haven't went through because everyone's hired me. So I can share these with them. There's nothing.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Because the master do again and again goes back to the basics.
Yeah.
Goes back to the basics. Goes back to the basics.
Well, because if you're able to 110% teach you basics, then that means you're imparting 110% knowledge what you know to the next person. It means they can also teach somebody too. If you screw it up, you're going to teach somebody 90% instead of 110. You still did a good job. You know what I mean? So it's super key to know the basics, because foundations are the skyscrapers are built from the solid foundation.
And Brian? All right. James?
I'll go. So I think what I wanted to share was I've kind of been focusing on some emotional healing for myself. I've got my hands around the root system of a pretty deep-seated limiting belief, and it centers around the way that I am sensitive to criticism. So I have been kind of working through this, and I've just been spending a lot of time focusing on it, and I feel like I'm starting to have some aha moments and starting to clear some of that garbage out, and it feels really good. So I think that's it. That's the big thing that I wanted to share, because it's feels really good.
Well, if you want to reach out and chit chat about any kind of limiting belief stuff, or just wants to limit back to, or even just if you want to hear all the crazy stuff going through my head, you have my number. You know.
Very good. Appreciate it.
Send me a text or something ahead of time, but I'm generally, I can generally make myself free. So in my life, I've cycled through so many different types of limiting beliefs, because I was raised a certain way, and then I was hanging out around certain people, and then I realized, I was with some people that just drug me through the mud, and then I just woke up like, what the hell am I doing? I understand that.
Yeah.
I think all of us. I mean, I know Nick especially. Nick especially, just pulled out a lot of limiting beliefs and really kind of change some stuff for himself. So he'd probably be a good person to talk to.
It's part of the journey is that there's always another limiting belief to bring awareness to and understand it and clear it out and heal, and then there's the next one. So thank you for sharing in this space. We do, this is a place of love and healing. So we will always be holding space. Like Paul said, you can call any of us. Even just sharing in this group, it allows the energy to transmute. I'm very happy to hear that this is something you've been focusing on, and I'm confident you will get through it. And every process of emotional awareness, limiting belief, and you go like this, you just get better and better at the clearing. So keep up the great work, and I know it's going to be awesome on the other side.
Yeah, and the important part you said there is when you opened it by saying emotional healing. So it's good you've already grabbed the fact that it's healing. It's not a open wound. Okay, it's not,
Right.
But it's just important to remember that as stuff heals, the scab can still rip off too. So just make sure that you're taking your time. Don't automatically come to terms with something and move on. Sometimes it's a natural process. Sometimes it's something powerful and it's an aha moment, and you're like, well, I can just, I'm done with that. Sometimes it's you have an aha moment, but it's going to take several of those before you truly, get over it. Just take your time. Enjoy the healing. Because just think, you might have been living in that belief system for a long time. That doesn't necessarily mean the healing needs to last an equal amount of time, but that doesn't mean you should just get over it right away. Maybe it's a gradual. Maybe you need to see all those different facets before you really. Me personally, when I find out that I've been thinking like an idiot on something, I don't like to immediately change, because when I immediately change, I almost feel like I'm telling myself, man, if I just quickly change, it's like I'm turning my back on it, like, oh, you're an idiot. I need to shun that part of my life. No, I'm accepting the fact that I learned that way, and now I'm different. But it's all natural, if that makes sense.
Yeah, thank you.
That's how I think. How you guys think that? That's what my think works.
We also have all those healing activities on Google Drive, so don't forget about those, Jim.
Absolutely. I've used a few of them.
Yeah, there's only about 873 on there, so if you find one that doesn't work, just keep knocking through. Yeah, you can be healing for 24 hours straight. You won't run out of activities.
Thank you, Tim. Okay.
Okay, so probably the highlight of my past week was that I got a much needed vacation. So I took a couple days off work, which was really nice, and just got through some things at the house that I needed to do. Took a day and went to the zoo. That was a lot of fun. Got to see the Christmas lights and tried to start to get into the holiday spirit a little bit. A little early for me, but it was still fun. It was cool. Just had a little bit of time to recharge. It was good, and had some time that I was able to make a nice meal and take over to my families. And my dad's still kind of not in great shape, so I think they appreciated that, and it was good to spend some time with them and see them and not be rushing around trying to get to the next thing. So it's good.
What? That sounds excellent on a couple of days off. Just imagine if you had all 5 days off. What would you do? What would you do with all that time?
I'd get a lot done, wouldn't I?
Yeah. Productivity through the roof. Going to the zoo is always a good time. It's crazy though how they put Christmas lights up before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
So,
I know. Well, I understand why they do it, because they do a fundraiser right before Thanksgiving to get food for the homeless shelters.
Okay.
So it's nice that they do it, and that's what I went for. So, but it was nice because it was a cold day and there was no one there for, you know, until it got dark and the lights went up.
Yeah.
So I pretty much had the place to myself and got to talk with a lot of the keepers and curators and staff, and had a lot of the animals were like really excited to see me because there was no one else around.
That's
So
nice.
got to have a lot of really cool interactions. It was fun. I took
Well-
video. Made this guy watch them all. 'Cause,
That's what we do.
yeah, because they were cute.
It reminds me as well, I have, my girlfriend's giving me her old digital camera. I mean, she has a nice one, but she got a new one because she's a photographer.
Yeah.
So she gave me her old one, which is still like a really nice camera. And just gave it to me, so I'm gonna have to take some pictures, some nature pictures, and send them to you now. 'Cause I know you take nature pictures and animal photos, so we'll have to share some interesting. Because I love just hiking, even in the wintertime. I'm not as excited as anybody in the summertime, but I'll take some pictures. You can critique me on them.
Yeah, cool. What kind of camera did you get?
It's a Canon D. Yeah, it's a nice camera. The one that she got was like $1,000.
Yeah.
The one that she gave me is only 2 years old, so it was new 2 years old, and it's a nice camera. So
It's not a Nikon, it's
I don't know. I'm not an elitist. I was I'm like, sweet. I'll take this camera. I'll do some cool stuff. You know, so I was excited.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But that sounds like the couple days off work were needed. And it's good that you were able to go over and just spend some more time with your family. And even though your father's still awaiting surgery, at least he's home. You know?
Yeah. He's pretty happy to be home, I think.
Because honestly, the psyche and the mental aspect is very important. I think some people, when they start to get sick, when they go to the hospital, it only gets worse for them because they're in that mind state there. I don't think, I don't know. To me, hospitals are places you go to continue staying sick. You know what I mean? I understand. I'm not saying don't ever go to the hospital, but I'm saying like I think sometimes people get in that mentality when they go there. It's just like it's not good.
Yeah.
But that's great that he's back home. And Thanksgiving tomorrow, you guys get to spend some time together.
Yeah. It should be fun.
She's got to hang out with me in the car for a couple hours.
2.5 hours. Yeah.
Oh, that's not so bad.
It'll be fine. It'll be fun. Get coffee.
Now, who does the driving though when you guys go together?
Usually me.
Usually.
I usually take his car.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
I'm always curious with the relationship dynamic because typically there's one person that does most of the driving, at the same time, and I always like seeing who that one is. You know what I mean? Well, hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys too.
All right. Well, we want to wrap up with our closing meditation.
Yes.
All right. Everybody and get in a good position. Sit up, stand up, lie down. Whatever feels good. So we'll close our eyes. We're going to come into our bodies, get in a good position. Start to follow your breath. Start to bring your awareness to that rhythm of your breath. And now we're going to start in our mind's eye. We're going to start at a beach. You're standing on a beach and you're looking out over the water. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining. You feel the radiant warmth bathing on your skin. And as you're looking down the beach, you see a canoe. You walk towards that canoe and you get in. And you push yourself from the shore and you head to sea. Now in this canoe, you're paddling, you're feeling the water splash as the oar gets into the water as you propel yourself forward out to sea. And as you're paddling, you're feeling your muscles pulling against the water. You're feeling the sweat drip on your skin in the warmth of this beautiful sun. And as you're leaving the shore behind, paddling out to sea, you see on the horizon. You see on the horizon land. It's an island, your destination. As you paddle towards the island, it gets larger in your focus. Maybe there are mountains. Maybe there are trees. Maybe it's a jungle. And as you come closer and closer to this island, you realize that there's something special about this island. You're being called toward this island. You land on the island and you take a step onto the land and you thank the island. You thank yourself for making the trip to this island because you know that you were called here for a reason. As you look around you, you get your bearings. You look at the ocean from where you came. And then you turn around towards the center of the island and start forward, continuing on your journey. As you're moving towards the calling, something in the center of the island is calling you. You're moving towards this calling. Is it a light? Is it a sound? In your mind's eye, feel the calling. Feel yourself being pulled towards the center of the island. And as you're making your way through the island, you enter a clearing. It's a beautiful clearing. There's a waterfall pouring down into the most beautiful lake. And on the side of the lake, you see this grove. There's a special energy coming from this grove of trees, this ancient energy in this grove of trees next to this pond, that's the waterfall is pouring into. The most beautiful scene as the sun continues to radiate down on your skin. And you feel yourself called towards this grove, towards this special trees. You're called into the grove. And as you walk now into the grove, you find yourself pulled towards one particular tree, an elder tree that's been there for eons. A tree that you've met before, a grandfather tree, a grandmother tree. This tree knows things about you that even you don't understand about yourself. And this tree is so happy that you heeded its call. Thank you, here she says. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy to see you again. The tree now wants you to know something. You to know something that's very important, he's been waiting to share with you for a long time. And he's so thankful that you're here now. Go deeper into the stillness now and feel the answer, feel the information, feel the energy that this loving tree elder is conveying to you. Feel it. in your aura, in your energy, in your presence. Maybe you're hearing the information. Maybe you're seeing symbols. Maybe you're just looking at the tree. Maybe you feel your energy radiating in a particular way. But bring your awareness to whatever you're feeling, whatever you're observing right now, as this tree is conveying this information to you. And smile and say, thank you, tree. Thank you so much for bringing me here right now. Thank you for sharing this information with me. Say, I love you, tree. I understand. Even if it's not quite clear, you don't have to consciously understand, but tell the tree, thank you. I love you. I understand. And I'm becoming the best person I can be. And the tree knows, and the tree understands, and the tree is happy for the information has been conveyed. And now, give this tree a big hug as we get ready to leave the grove. Leave this tree and tell him or her that I'll see you again soon. And know that you can come back to this grove, come back to this island, come back to this elder tree at any time you wish. You can come back in your dreams, you can come back in your meditation, you can even ask a question and the tree will answer. And you know that this tree is also a fractal representation of you, who's also a fractal representation of God, also a fractal representation of source energy of the universe, and that the connection is always there. And as you smile, knowing that this connection to God, connection to the tree, connection to your inner self is always there, you make your way back towards the beach. Say goodbye to the grove, goodbye to the pond, to the lake, goodbye to the waterfall, as you trek back the path from whence you came. Walking, seeing the same beautiful foliage, and maybe you see animals, and you can feel the sun on your skin as you're walking back towards the beach. And you walk back now on the beach towards the canoe. And you get in your canoe, and you set out to sea. And as you're paddling back to the original beach, where we started our journey, you look back one more time at the island, and you can feel the connection to the island, to the grove of the elder energies of this tree that is an expression of you. And as you feel that connection one more time, you turn back towards the distant shore from where we originated this journey. You paddle, feel the water splashing, feel the mist on your skin, feel your muscles pulling through the water. And you come closer and closer to the beach, and you land on the beach. Get out. You kneel down and touch the land and thank the land. Thank yourself. Know that this journey that you just went on is always here to revisit at any time. And now, with this new information, the new feeling, the new connection settling deeper into the subconscious, releasing it, releasing the attachment to that experience that you just had. Allowing yourself now to come back into your body, Come down and settle down the information, settle down the feeling, settle down the sensation. Bring your awareness into your body, back into your breath. And from here, we clear our minds and we prepare the guild affirmation to close out this wonderful meeting. And Brian, I'll bring it for you to read as well.
Pretty. Well, see how good I do. I pretty much have memory.
All right, together now. I am blessed. I am loved. And I am becoming the best version of myself. I am powerful, capable, confident, energetic, and on top of the world. I am in control and the architect of my life. I build its foundation and choose its contents. Day by day, in every way, through a positive mental attitude, I am becoming better and better. I thank myself, my creator, and my guildmates for the love and support today and in the exciting days to come. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great holiday. Be safe.
Yeah, have a great day.
Yeah.
Have a great
Enjoy.
one.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.